A rainy day. Peter Potter. Fred opened his eyes and rubbed them softly. The room was drab and gray. It's time to start the day. He kicking his blanket onto the floor. Scoot, scoot, scoot. Fred put on the slippers and shuffled to the window. The ground was dark purple and floor was wet. Fred looked around the room. "Pat, where are you?" He saw a note on the table. It said, "Be back soon, Pat." The room was quickly became darker. It's a rainy cat and dogs. Crack, boom. Fred ran back to his bed. Maybe I should sleep in today. Good night. Thank you.
A rainy day. Pillow patter. Fred opened his eyes and rubbed them softly. The room was drab and gray. It's time to start the day. He kicking his blanket onto the floor. Scoot, scoot, scoot. Fred put on his slippers and shuffled to the window. The clouds were dark purple and floor was wet. Fred looked around the room. "Pat, where are you?" He saw a note on the table. He says, "Be back soon, Pat." The room quickly became darker. It starts raining cats and dogs. Crack, boom! Fred ran back to his bed. Maybe I should sleep in today. Good night. Thank you.
A rainy day. Pitter patter. Fred opened his eyes and glanced softly. The room was drab and gray. It's time to start the day. He kicked his blanket onto the floor. Scoot, scoot, scoot. Fred put on his slippers, shuffled to the window. Thank you.
A rainy day. Peter Brother. Fred opened his eyes, then rubbed and softly. The room was drab and gray. It's time to start the day. He kicked his blanket onto the floor. Scoot, scoot, scoot. Fred put on his slippers and shuffled to the window. The cloud was dark purple and the floor was wet. Fred looked around the room. "Pat, where are you?" He saw a note on the table. It said, "Be back soon, Pat." The room was quickly became darker. It's a rainy cat and dog. Crack, boom. Fred ran back to his bed. Maybe I should sleep in today. Good night.
A rainy day. Pitter patter. Fred opened his eyes and rubbed them softly. The room was drab and gray. It's time to start the day. He kicked his blanket onto the floor. Scoot, scoot, scoot. Fred put on his slippers and shuffled to a window. The cloud was dark purple and the floor was wet. Fred looked around the room. "Pat, where are you?" He saw a note on the table. It said, "Be back soon, Pat." The room quickly became darker. It started raining cats and dogs. Crack, boom. Fred went back to his bed. Maybe I should sleep in today. Good night. Thank you.
A rainy day. Pitter patter. Fred opened his eyes and rubbed them softly. The room was drab and gray. It's time to start the day. He kicked his blanket onto the floor. Scoot, scoot, scoot. Fred put on his slipper and shuffled to the window. The cloud was dark purple and the floor was wet. Fred looked around the room. Pat, where are you? He saw a note on the table. It said, be back soon. Pat, the room quickly became dark. It started raining cats and dogs. Crack, boom! Fred ran back to his bed. Maybe I shall sleep in today. Good night. Thank you.
A rainy day. Pillow, Fred opened his eyes and rubbed them softly. The room was drab and gray. It's time to start the day. He kicked his blanket onto the floor. Skill. Fred put on slipper and shuffled to the window. The cloud was dark purple and floor was wet. He saw a note on the table. Be back soon, Pat. The room was quickly and became darker. It started raining, cat and dog. Crack, boom! Fred ran back to his bed. Maybe I shall sleep in today. Good night. Thank you.
A rainy day. Bitter. Fred opened his eyes and laughed down softly. The room was dark and gray. It's time to start the day. He kicked his blanket onto the floor. Scoot. He put on his slippers and shuffled to the window. The clouds were dark purple and the floor was wet. Fred looked around the room. Pat, where are you? He saw a note on the table. It said, be back soon, Pat. The room quickly became darker. It started raining cats and dogs. Clack, boom! Fred ran back to his bed. Maybe I should sleep in today. Good night. Thank you.
A rainy day. Peter Potter. Fred opened his eye and laughed softly. The room was drab and gray. It's time to start the day. He kicked his blanket onto the floor. Scoot. Fred put on slippers and shuffled to the window. The clouds were dark purple and the floor was wet. Fred looked around the room. Pat, where are you? He saw a note on the table. It said, be back soon, Pat. The room quickly became darker. It started raining cats and dogs. Crack, boom! Fred ran back to his bed. Maybe I should sleep in today. Good night.
A rainy day. Pillow. Fred opened his eyes and laughed them softly. The room was dark and gray. It's time to start the day. He kicked his blanket onto the floor. Scoot. Fred put on his slipper and shuffled to the window. The clouds were dark purple and the floor was wet. Fred looked around the room. Pat, where are you? He saw a note on the table. It said, be back soon, Pat. The room quickly became darker. It started raining and cats and dogs. Clack, boom! Fred ran back to his bed. Maybe I should sleep in today. Good night. Thank you. Little bird in the well. Little bird lives in the deep dark well. It's very old and has a very bad smell. The little bird is hungry. He eats some insect. He is poor. He works a passing crowd. Little bird never been to the outside world. One day a bird flew by and stopped. Hello, Mr. Bird. Why don't you come to my house and play with me? It's so beautiful and has many insects to eat. Hello, little bird. Why may I show you the outside world? It's so much bigger and with many things to see. Mr. Bird picked him up and flew out the well. They flew over wide ocean, mountains, and hills. In the forest, birds were singing, flowers were dancing, squirrels were jumping, monkeys were singing. The outside world is so big and wonderful. The little bird cried out happy and jumped in the new house, the barn. Thank you.
Little frog in the well. Little frog lives in a deep dark well. It is very old and has a very bad smell. When he is hungry, he eats some insect. When he is bored, he looks at the passing crowd. Little frog has never been to the outside world. One day the bird flew by and stopped. Hello, Mr. Bird. Why don't you come to my house and play with me? It's so wonderful. It's so beautiful and has many insects to it. Hello, little frog. May I show you the outside world? It's so much bigger and has many things to see. Mr. Bird picked him up and flew over of the well. They flew over the wide ocean, mountain, and hill. In the forest, the birds were singing, and the flowers were dancing. The squirrels were jumping, and monkeys were swinging. The outside world is so big and wonderful. Little frog cried out happily and jumped into his new home, the pond. Thank you.
Little frog in the well. Little frog lives in a deep, dark well. It is very old and has a very bad smell. When little frog is hungry, he eats some insects. When he is bored, he looks at the passing crowds. Little frog never been to the outside. One day, bird flew and stopped. Hello, Mr. Bird. Why don't you come to my house and play with me? It's very beautiful and I have many insects to eat. Hello, little frog. May I show you the outside world? It's so much bigger and so many things to see. Mr. Bird picked him up and flew out of the well. They flew over the wide ocean, mountains, and hills. In the forest, the birds were singing, and flowers were dancing, and the squirrels were jumping, and monkeys were swinging. The outside world was big, so big and wonderful. Little frog cried out happily and jumped into his new home, the pond. Thank you.
Little frog in the well. Little frog lives in the deep, dark well. It is very old and has a really bad smell. When little frog is hungry, he eats some insects. When he is bored, he looks at the passing clouds. Little frog has never been to the outside world. One day, a bird flew by and stopped. Hello, Mr. Bird.
why don't you come to my house and play with me? It's very beautiful and I have many insects to eat. Hello, little frog. May I show you the outside world? It's so much bigger with so many things to see. Mr. Bird picked him up and flew out of the well. They flew over the wide ocean, mountains, and hills. In the forest, the birds were singing. The flowers were dancing. The squirrels were jumping. The monkeys were swinging. The outside world is so big and wonderful. Little Frog cried out happily and jumped into his new home, the pond. The end.
Little Frog in the well. Little Frog lives in a deep dirt well. It is very old and has a really bad smell. When Little Frog is hungry, he eats some insect. When he is bored, he looks at the passing clouds. Little Frog has never been to the outside world. One day, a bird flew by and stopped. Hello, Mr. Bird. Why don't you come to my house and play with me? It's very beautiful and I have many insects to eat. Hello, Little Frog. May I show you the outside world? It's so much bigger with so many things to see. Mr. Bird picked him up and flew out of the well. They flew over the wide oceans, mountains, and hills. In the forest, the birds were singing. The flowers were dancing. The squirrels were jumping. The monkeys were swinging. The outside world is so big and wonderful. Little Frog cried out happily and jumped into his new home, the pond. The end. Thank you.